We can worship according to Yahweh's word, or we can worship according to man's tradition.
Emperor Constantine, a sun worshiper, solidified the change from Sabbath to Sunday. In the first 300 years of the New Testament, the church made hundreds of changes in
It's time
doctrine.
that we follow Scripture and not the traditions of man.
Within 200 years after it began, Christianity abandoned many of the teachings of its founder, Yeshua, commonly called Jesus. Influenced by Greek and Roman paganism, Zoroastrianism, and beliefs that even go back as far as Nimrod and the Tower of Babel, Christianity turned away from most of its Hebraic foundation. Worship rituals of the sun god Sol Invictus, who was born on December 25th, were adopted in rituals common in the modern holiday of Christmas. To continue this veneration of the sun god Sol Invictus, Constantine in the year 300 imposed Sunday to replace the biblical Sabbath. Other holidays like Easter and even Halloween were adopted in favor of the original Hebraic days of worship it once honored. But the rabbit hole goes much deeper, and the church doesn't want you to know the truth. From what the Messiah looked like to the very name he was called by, what you have been taught all your life is almost entirely wrong. Minister and journalist Alan Mansager explains.
Christianity, as we know it today, started out as a Jewish faith, and it wasn't until 300 years later that Constantine started to make changes in the Sabbath, in Passover, and many of the other fundamental doctrines of Scripture.
And the restoration ministry, the foundation of it is the name of Yahweh. Everything in the end is, and in that day they will know my name is Yahweh. So if you don't have the name, you don't have the authority to go out and do the restoration ministry.
In the beauty of holiness, we will sing to Yahweh.
We can worship according to Yahweh's word, or we can worship according to man's tradition.
Emperor Constantine, a sun worshiper, solidified the change from Sabbath to Sunday. In the first 300 years of the New Testament, the church made hundreds of changes in
It's time that
doctrine.
we follow Scripture and not the traditions of man.